Kansas City and Indy start things off for game number one.
What is an exciting day of baseball ahead. Joey Fear and Gabby Chernoff with you as they are getting set to go. Kansas City in the field, Indy at bat. And currently at bat for Indy right now. Well, they're going to get going right now as Tatiana Jones will take center stage. She'll be walked for her first attempt, but looks like she was heading back and then supposed to head to first, but right now she's got the wrong call from the umpire. This is the Kansas City team that went 0-4 last year, looking to have a better outcome this time. Emma Voss having the pitching duties. That one is high, so that will be ball number 4. And she'll be on her way to first.
This exact same matchup is how Kansas City kicked off their year last year. He said they ended 0-4, a 20-1 loss against this team from Indianapolis. So not looking to repeat history there if you're this Royals RBI program.
Kaylin Napier, who was in the home run derby yesterday, hit 1 home run, which sent her to the final. So already warmed up a bit. But this Kansas City team, Emma Voss will be at the pitching duties. Tatiana Jones at the catcher. Cheyenne Daniel at first. Kaylin Napier at second. Capria Derby is pitching. Emma Morgan behind catcher. Gracie Hatcher at first. Annabelle Breedlove at second. Maddie Morris at third. Allie Compton at shortstop. Caitlin Owings at left. Kale Hopner at center. And Larissa Zaragoza at third. At right field. That one is a bit high. Jones at first. Napier at the plate. Two balls and a strike. Jones looking to start to take second. She's in position. This is the team that likes to steal and was looking to get on her way. Important to get a fast start for this Indy team.
Want to get out there, jump the gun early. It's good for momentum if you can really kind of get going early. First game, top of the inning, nobody out. If you can get going here, they have a good start with an easy walk.
And that one is slammed into left center field. Back behind Hopner. Jones on her way to third, getting the call home. Jones sends home the play at the plate, and there is run number 1. Napier on her way to third, and she is out. Good play there, but a run batted in, and Indy starts it off 1-0. So 1-0 currently right now, and an RBI to left center field, and that brings home Jones.
She found a really good spot there, right over the head of Hepper in center field.
Currently up is Aaliyah Dowdy out of Greenfield Central High School in Indianapolis. Currently 1 out for Kansas City. That one is way high. Nobody on base. This Royals team, they struggled with pitching last year, but head coach Kerry Kankey said this team is more of a veteran team and brought in some older players. And that one is hit high into left center, heading back towards the wall and off the wall. Dowdy on her way to second, looking to go 3, and retreats back for a double. So the bats hot early for Indy.
They're really liking to pick that spot, just kind of a little bit to the left of center field, but they're popping them up and they're getting way back. There are a lot of power on the swings here early in the first.
Well, Cheyenne Daniel will now step up. She was in the home run derby yesterday. So 2 hits so far for Indy. And the Royals only 1 out, but able to be up 1-0 so far. So Cheyenne Daniel stepping in. Head coach of this Indy team, Jostrid Medina Rodriguez. This Indy team, 24 runs last year, 45 runs allowed. After they were able to beat Kansas City, they did not have their best outing in those last 3 games. But that 20 runs scored against Kansas City last year was most by a team in a game in the 2023 tournament. How important is pitching, especially in softball? I mean, certainly if you have a good arm, then you're able to get out at jams and innings.
I think it just, if you have a good arm out there, a veteran arm especially, it instills a lot of confidence in the rest of your team. I mean, you see that all the time in college softball, players and coaches talking about, you know, they decide to put this girl on the mound. It really can kind of bolster your offense and defense, get you guys going, just knowing you have someone really, really solid at the plate and being able to trust them to get things done up there, not allow too much damage to be done.
Certainly is that a ball. 2 strikes. 1-2's the count with 1 out. A runner on second. And that one's high and wide of the plate. 2-2. So Scopria Darby looking for her first strikeout. And that one's on the ground. Daniel on her way to first. Darby throws over in time, and there's out number 2. But that advances the runner of Dowdy. Now a runner in scoring position.
I think Cheyenne Daniel there was kind of catching on to Derby's pitching strategy. She either goes straight down the middle right with a fastball, at least from what we've seen earlier. She's kind of spinning it away from her body, hitting the very outside of that zone, and she was very consistent with that. She wasn't kind of trying to set anything up. She was going with that pitch with Daniel. It worked a few times there, but she kind of caught on to it right. It was able to get a little bit on it, but an out at first base.
Isabel Sellers, so the DH, she'll step in. Out of Shortridge High School, another Indianapolis native. A ball and a strike with 2 outs. Runner on third. This would be a good inning for Kansas City given the way it started. One ball, 1 strike. Fifth batter in the lineup. Bella Rollins on deck. And whipped into center field. That brings home Dowdy. And there's an RBI for Isabel Sellers. 2 runs scored. And they double their lead. Certainly important to get on the scoreboard first and have that momentum.
It is, and I think they're doing a good combination of playing small ball here and getting those big hits. You just saw, you know, you want to do what's best for the team at the end of the day. She could have made a big play if she wanted to. She had a runner in scoring position over there at third, and she just hit it just enough to bring her home. And then we saw early in the inning the girls were hitting it right out there to center field, getting, you know, more than just a single. They're getting doubles and triples and bringing each other home.
Certainly is that runner on first with Sellers. Rollins is up. Heron High School. And there is a strike from the umpire. Two strikes. Looking for strike number 3 and out number 3. That would get him out of this inning. The way it started with an RBI from Napier. Dowdy, she got home with a double. A ball, 2 strikes. 3 hits so far for Indy. And there's strike number 3. So a good way to end the inning for Darby. And that will put it 2-0 as we head to the bottom of the first here on Windy City Sports Network. Back here for the bottom of the first, the Royals will take center stage as Cale Hopner leading off. Allie Compton, she's on deck with Maddie Morris at third in the lineup. A ball and a strike. Emma Voss, the pitcher for this Indy team, as that's popped up back foul. This Indy lineup, they have Emma Voss pitching, Tatiana Jones at catcher, Cheyenne Daniel at first, Kaylin Napier at second, Bibiana Raucho Tomeo at third, Aaliyah Dowdy at shortstop, Tegan Gadberry at left, Bella Rollins at center, and Iona Porter at right field. 1 ball, 2 strikes, the 1-2 count. Just a bit high, the plate, 2-2. His Royals team only had 3 runs last year in 4 games. Certainly looking to build off of that as that's sliced into right field. Over the head of Daniel, that stays fair. And so a good start, and the bats rolling early for Kansas City. So Hopner starts off with a single. A tying run at the plate. Allie Compton. Out of St. PSX High School in Kansas City, the greater KC area. But already a good sign for this Kansas City team. looking to show bunt. And now in a jam on her way to second is Hopner, and that throws over the second baseman in Napier. How important is stealing? Certainly it seems like it's encouraged, and definitely a strategy move to have, especially your first person hitting, to get on base and have that advance to second.
I mean, having your first hitter in the lineup in scoring position, she's probably fast, and if the second batter there can get her even further moved along, then again, it's a confidence thing. If you can get started out the gate early, if you can get out running from the fences quickly, it's really good to just kind of get your team grilling, especially early in the morning here, this 8:30 start time.
Certainly an early game. Full day of softball ahead. One of 5 games here in day 1 of the tournament. So a ball and a strike, that's on the ground of the shortstop, Dowdy. Looks at first, throws to Daniel in time. But that advances the runner and Hopner. And now she's in scoring position.
And there you go. You just asked what's the importance of getting her to second. Well, now there's a single. She was out, but she got her teammate to third. They're both teams kind of playing the same game here, just trying to advance their runners that are on base. This kind of selfless mindset, doing what's best for the team rather than for yourself, trying to make these big plays. They're getting out the gate. They're both of these teams having solid starts here, but just trying to advance the runner, get on the board early, and make this a good game.
So another home run participant of yesterday, Maddie Morris, out of Spring Hill High. And she swings at strike 2, 0-2. 1 out. But boy, if she can find a way to drive a run home, this would be big for Kansas City. A ball, 2 strikes, 0-2. Voss delivers on a swing and a miss for strike 3. Morris goes down swinging, and that's out number 2 for Indy.
A good sequence here for Indy. They get the runner out at first. They strike out the next one. There's 2 down now. They just have to make sure she doesn't get home over there at third.
Emma Morgan, now the catcher, in the cleanup spot. 0-1. Voss starting to find her rhythm. The 0-1 fouled back for the second strike, 0-2. Well, Hopner started off with a single. She stole second. And on the put out of Compton, she was able to advance third. 2 outs, no balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 just a bit high and wide of the plate, 1-2. And swung, and that is to the left of Raucho Tomeo. That brings home more Hopner. And how about that? Morgan able to drive in a run, and they cut the lead in half.
Both teams getting on the board here early, a solid start for them.
So the DH, Mia Trowbridge, she's up. Looks like a pinch runner. Alicia Lopez. Graduated high school this year. So 2 outs, but the first run drove in for the Royals. Trowbridge, the DH, steps in. That's low from Voss. A ball and a strike, 1-1. Beautiful Friday morning here in Chicago. The Chicago skyline in the background. And on the ground to Dowdy. Looks at second, throws to first to Daniel. And that will take us through the first inning to the top of the second, but the Royals drive in a run and they make it 2-1. We'll be back here with you shortly here on WCSN. Back here for inning number 2. Indy 2, Royals 1. There's Tegan Gadberry. She'll lead off. 7th batter in the lineup. Gadberry, Raucho Tomeo, and Porter are set to bat. A good start so far. Four combined hits, 3 combined runs, and looks close so far.
Yeah, it's a really solid start for both these teams. Neither of them are blowing it wide open. It's a good game through the first inning here.
One error recorded for Indy. Tegan Gadberry, another Huron High School product. She's from Morgantown, Indiana. Graduating high school next year, so entering her senior year of high school. A ball and a strike, the 1-1. And swing and a miss outside, she reached for it. A ball, 2 strikes. The 1-2 from Derby. And down the plate for strike 3. That's her first strikeout and a big confidence boost as she gets applaud from her team. So important to see that 3rd strike cross the plate. You just feel better as a pitcher, and certainly seemed like it there.
I think she's definitely settled in there, and that's huge to start off the inning with a strikeout like that.
There's strike number 1. 0-1 is the count. So 2 strikeouts for Derby. Starting to find her rhythm. The 0-1. Chop to the right. Foul territory. No balls, 2 strikes. And strike number 3. My goodness. Derby back-to-back strikeouts make it 3 straight in total. That's what head coach Carrie Kankey said. They have more of a veteran team and better arms this year. So bottom of the lineup. is Iona Porter, the right fielder, and she sees ball one.
This is really good for Derby here. She led up 2 runs there to kick off the top of the first, and then 3 strikeouts in a row. I mean, that's got to just bolster your team, you know, a little bit. Not maybe the start they would have loved to have, not a terrible start, but to come back and do this, it's got to be good for the infield and the outfield here.
Certainly does. The infield is pushing up, and well, she found her on the inside with a swing and a miss. So ball, 2 strikes, the 1-2 count here with 2 down. Royals have a chance to go 1-2-3. The 1-2 from Derby, and hit low onto the third baseman, throws on to first, and Morse over to Hatcher. Did she get it in time? Did she make the throw? The 2 umpires are discussing. She is out. Boy, that is 1-2-3 for the Royals. And boy, that is huge for confidence and the defense getting it done, led by Capria Derby.
Yeah, that play at first, it looked to me when she was running over there, it looked like that throw was in time, that she was out, and then the umpire over there called her safe initially, and then they started discussing it. They said she was out, and that seemed like the correct call to me from what I saw.
Yeah, certainly did. The umpires have a big job to do today, but that will take us through 1.5 innings. We head to the bottom of the second here on WCSN. Stay with us. Back here for the bottom of the second. So this will be the pitcher, Capria Derby. Has a chance to do it on the offensive side now. She foul tipped back for strike 1. So Karen Kanke, she said this Chicago trip certainly important. This is perhaps the last time these kids are going to play softball before they go to college, so certainly looking to end it on a high note.
Definitely, and Derby's on a fast track to that right now. Like you said, 3 strikeouts in a row and then downs them in order. It's a really good start for her here.
Hit on the ground, the throw from Dowdy to Daniel. Boy, what a throw there from the shortstop for out number 1. She's made a couple plays today. Able to get Trowbridge out from there, and Derby. So Gracie Hatcher, the first baseman. And she was hit by a pitch. And that'll take her to first. This will bring in the second baseman, Annabelle Breedlove. 1 out. Only 1 hit so far, and that belonged to Hopner at the start of this game. One down. The 1-0. Just tie. Carrie Kanke, she has been around softball quite a bit. Was a head coach at 3 different schools. A Division III school in Ohio called Defiance College. She was at Norfolk State, a Division I school, for a year. And there is a strike. 3-1 is the count. But she did say on the softball side for the Royals, they have every kid has a family member coming up to watch. As that's popped high into center field and able to make the grab is Rollins. So 2 outs, 2-1 is the count with a runner on first. Caitlin Owings, she'll step in. 2 down. Swing and a miss up top for strike 1. The 0-1 from Voss. And back-to-back strikes makes it 0-2. And there it is, strike number 3 for Voss. And so both putting up zeros here in the second inning. We head to the top of the third here on the Windy City Sports Network. Don't go away. Top of the third, we go 2 down. As we head to the top of the lineup as well, Tatiana Jones. She was walked. She was also able, one of the only 2 runners to get home. That's bounced right for foul ball, 1-1. So both teams got through the same number of batters, the same amount of innings. So very even game so far. The only difference is Indy has 1 more run.
Yeah, the parallels here as I'm looking at my score sheet are kind of fun to look at. They both got through 6 in the first and then, well, I guess 3 in the second, sorry. And they both ended the first inning the same way they started the second. A strikeout for 2 strikeouts for Indy to end the first and the second, and then 2 ground outs for the Royals. They go down to end the first and start the second.
The 1-2 on a bouncer just to the first baseman of Hatcher. Steps on first. That's an easy out there. So Kaylin Napier, RBI last time at bat, brought home Jones. She did get out at third. But the important thing is she was able to bring home a run. It's bounced foul. Derby 3 strikeouts today Oh, ball's a strike with an out. One down. Napier will see the 0-1. It's inside and low for a ball. 1-on-1. The 1-1. Boy, that ball dipped down. Looked like it may have caught the end of the plate, but just a bit outside. 2-1. Indy with 3 hits. 2 runs from that. He also did commit an error in the field. And swung and driven out into center field. Napier with her second hit. So she's 2 for 2. A home run derby participant yesterday, and like we talked about yesterday, a lot of those were good hits.
Yeah.
And you can see today that Napier already showing that.
Yeah, if I'm remembering correctly, she didn't get a whole lot of home runs, but the kind of gap she was picking, I think it kind of made me think, if this was a full game, those would be really good spots for the ball to drop and for her to get some offense going.
So Aaliyah Dowdy, also her first time at bat, she had a double. So the shortstop, 4 hits for Indy. Important for Capri Derby to stay on top of it. Already was 3 strikeouts. One out. Runner on first. Napier looks to be in running position. And there is a strike, 1-1. Oh, well, look, they threw over, and, well, Napier on her way to second. There was a miscue there from the first baseman, Gracie Hatcher, not able to field that correctly. And miscues like that certainly can hurt a team.
Yeah, just kind of skipped away from her there, was rolling towards her. From where I was at, it looked like it was moving pretty slow. It was just a little bit away from her, but it got way a little bit into the outfield there. And she's able to get to second.
As that hits Dowdy, a wild pitch there. Runners on first and second. And a little bit of danger here in the top of the third for Kansas City. They have to be smart.
Both these pitchers now have hit a batter. And you just mentioned the error for Indy as Cheyenne Daniel comes up here. It was her error on first as the ball just kind of slipped through her glove there.
Daniel got put out at first last time. Way high there for Derby. So Kansas City has given up 2 runs through 2 innings, but here in the top of the third, a little bit of danger poses. 1 out, the 1-0, high once again. And Derby starting to see the pitches just get a little bit away from her. And an inning like this, a close game.
Yeah, she's kind of lobbing them high a little bit. She's picking that top right corner of the zone, and it's not getting as far in as she would like to. And like you said, having a little bit of trouble here, but overall a good start for her.
Able to fight back in the count with a strike, 2-1. So Dowdy on first. She was hit by a pitch. Napier with a single of her own. She's on second. 1 down. The 2-1. Daniel swings high for strike 2. Boy, she reached for that. She's just stepping out of the batter's box. Has to regather herself. 2-2. It was a 2-0 count here. 2 straight strikes from Derby. Runners on first and second. The 2-2. Daniel chops it into left center. On her way home is Jones. The throw is not in time. And that's a 3rd run for Indy. And Cheyenne Daniel, an RBI single.
You could tell as soon as that pitch was coming to her, she really liked it. It was like right down Broadway. I saw her like kind of step into it right as it was coming toward her. You could tell she really liked that pitch, and she made a good play on it.
So 5 hits total, 3 runs in, and Indy back up by 2 runs. So Isabella Sellers, the DH, had an RBI single last time she was up 1-0. Here's the count with 1 down. A ball and a strike, 1-1. Dowdy at second. Daniel at first. 2 balls and a strike. Head coach John Boggs of the baseball team said they brought a lot more people this year and have a lot more support for both sides on the baseball and softball side. That's great to see, and they're certainly excited to be here.
Yeah, we saw that during the Derby last night. The baseball programs were over here at the softball field supporting these girls in the Derby. So that was definitely kind of coming to fruition last night. We saw it.
Gary Nike RBI, Savannah Roberts, she was able to take home the Home Run Derby trophy. Her and Maya Harrison, they went toe-to-toe from the Chicago White Sox. They went toe-to-toe. It was four home runs for Roberts, 7 in the second final round, which propelled her to victory. But a full count here, the first time we've seen that. With 1 down, the 3-2 lobbed it in there. And that is strike number 3 for Sellers. So 2 down.
You could tell their Sellers was kind of unsure, just kind of how she swung at it on whether or not she wanted to take that pitch. You could see it in the swing. It wasn't like a full kind of swing there. She was very hesitant with it, and she wasn't able to get anything on it and struck out there.
2 down, the first strike. Darby starting to find her rhythm again. Bella Rollins, who struck out the first time she's at the plate. And she faces an 0-1 count. Daniel at first, Dowdy at second. The 0-1, swing and a miss for strike 2. Let's see if the Royals can finish out another inning. They gave up an early run, but have cleaned it up with their defense. 1-2. Two down, 1 away for the Royals. The 1-2 from Derby was way inside. 2-2.
Derby had a chance there with the first 2 pitches to close out this 3rd inning the same way she did the first, to strike out on Rollins, but she evens the count.
So Deuces run wild across the board. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. The 2-2 from Derby. And a ground ball all the way to Hatcher, who steps on first. And that will take us to the bottom of the 3rd. Out number 3. So Indy brings home a run, and they're back up 2 runs, 3-1. We head to the bottom of the 3rd. here on WCSN. Bottom of the third, Emma Voss able to throw a strike, 0-1. This will take us to the top of the lineup. Gail Hopner, the only runner to cross home plate for the Royals. As a ground ball gets to Dowdy, dives and not able to make the play in time. Good effort from Dowdy, but Hopner was quicker. Back-to-back singles for her. She's been a bright spot for this Royals team.
Yeah, at the top of the order, just being able to get on base, it's a really good start there to kind of get your offense going early, especially since she's kind of been the one to lead off 2 of these 3 innings.
She has both hits. Allie Compton bunts, and Voss charges it. Compton on her way to first. The throw is in time, and Napier, well, Hopner on her way to third. How about that? A sac bunt advances the runner and puts Hopner in scoring position.
Now she's the lone scorer for the Royals here too today. Getting on base early, she then stole second, got advanced to third, and then her teammates brought her home. It was Emma Morgan in the first inning.
As Maddie Morris, the third baseman, who struck out swinging her first time up. The 2-0. Hit high into the second baseman, but the shortstop Downey comes out and gets it. Boy, she has been everywhere for this Indy defense. That's not what you want to see there, especially with a runner at home, and maybe one of the easiest outs is just a pop-up and doesn't advance the runner. And now she's at third.
If that pop-up had gone a little bit deeper, they definitely would have waved Hepner home there, but it was too shallow. She wouldn't have had time to make it home. That would have been a pretty easy play at the plate if they did decide to send her.
But somebody that has sent her home before, Emma Morgan, the catcher, an RBI her last time up. It's a 1-0. Inside for ball 2, 2-0.
Yeah, it was an RBI double for Emma Morgan last time she was at the plate in the first inning, and that, like we said earlier, brought Hepner home.
There is a strike, 2-1 with 2 down. Two balls a strike. The 2-1 and popped up high into the stands.
it's interesting to see in softball games. They just threw that one back. Something I learned, softballs are apparently a little bit more expensive than baseball. So with baseballs, they can just kind of give them away, give them to fans. If it's out, it's out, no big deal. But with softballs, they're more expensive, so they like to throw them back in, keep them. They can't give them away all willy-nilly like they can with baseballs.
They have to preserve the softballs for sure.
They have to preserve the precious softball.
So deuces run across the board. Royals looking for that second run to cut this lead in half. The 2-2 just tipped foul. We have the Indian Royals here on the softball field, and then the Cubs and White Sox just next door on the baseball field. So at Curtis Granderson Stadium. So a lot of baseball and softball to be played. 2-2 high outside to a full count. A huge next pitch here. A full count with 2 down, a runner on third. What's the play here? You keep calm at the plate, or you have to obviously read the pitch? What do you think?
I think you read the pitch. I mean, I was going to say it'll be interesting to see how she'll set it up, but that wasn't probably the pitch she was looking for. It was way outside. It kind of started breaking to the outside early, so she was able to read it at the plate. Probably not the pitch she wanted for that one.
So pitch runner Alicia Lopez, due to her speed, this is her second time pinch running. So Voss and this infield are going to have to talk things over. But yeah, just patient at the plate there, not swinging at something that she didn't want to swing at. Able to go to first. Now runners on first and third, and this next batter, Mia Trowbridge, the designated hitter. So you have a DH in this position, somebody that's designed to do this. She was put out at shortstop last time. So a big opportunity here for the Royals. So 2 down, and that is hit high into left center. Heading back is Rollins, and able to make the grab. So a big play there for Indy, to able to get out of the inning without without allowing a run. And the score remains 3-1. We head to the top of the fourth on the Windy City Sports Network. Three innings down to the top of the fourth we go. Royals facing a 3-1 deficit. Cadbury is up. And she pops it out into right field, and that gets down before Zaragoza can get to it. And heading to third, boy, she's got a lot of speed, able to make it in time for a triple. Tegan Cadbury. How about that? Boy, I mean, you look up, she's rounding first, and then next second, she's at third.
I didn't think they were going to send her to third there. I thought that was just going to be a double there, but it kind of got away from Zaragoza there. It dropped a little bit. She couldn't run up quite enough to get underneath it, and then it just rolled away from her and gave her enough time for that triple there, Cadbury.
There's Racho Tomeo. Bibiana Racho Tomeo, the third baseman. She struck out her first time up, but has an opportunity to bring home the fourth run. Boy, that's 6 hits so far for Indy. He's certainly been the better of the two on offense.
Yeah, both these teams have been pretty good. This is a good way to kind of start the weekend, start pool play. They're keeping it close, but good offense, good defense. It's a good game.
A ball and a strike. The speed of Cadbury got her to third in a heartbeat. Derby trying to get under her feet once again and throws it low. So she's down in the count, 2-1. Two balls a strike. 2-1. Just tying away for the third ball. 3-1.
Derby may be a little bit shaken there after kicking off the inning with that triple. She's just the very outside of that strike zone, not quite getting it where she wants to. But she does on that one. I think that's where she's trying to put it. That was just slightly more inside. She's been putting it a little bit out, but count is full now.
Yeah, full count, no outs. The fourth run for Indy, 90 feet away. And just low. And that will take her to first. Runners on first and third. You think Derby a little bit tired in the arm? You're starting to see that, or just not finding her pitches?
I think just not finding her pitches. She hasn't been out here for too long. I mean, like I said, that wasn't the way I think she wanted to start the inning.
And a run is brought home. How about that? Racho Tomeo was on her way to second as Morgan threw over and just brought home Cadbury. So great strategy there when you have a runner on first and third and able to steal that, and that they sucked him in there and brought home Cadbury. The Royals want to talk things over.
They're keeping Derby out there. She a little bit of a rough stint at the top of this fourth inning, but she's shown flashes of exactly why she's out there. She's a veteran arm. She can get her team out of pickles. That wasn't a good example, but it's happened a few times in this game. They trust her enough to get them out of this one.
The 0-1 and bounced on the ground for a bunt. Maddie Morris, the third baseman, throws over and not in time. Boy, Racho Tomeo found her way to third. And so Indy just doing a little bit of everything on the offensive side. 7 hits for Indy.
So you have runners at the corners here, and you're right back at the top of the order. So they're going to take a second, regroup here, try and figure out what they want to do. Tatiana Jones is 1 for 1 here, or 1 and 1. Or she's not, sorry, she was walked and then a ground out in the third.
Well, top of the order now. There's Tatiana Jones, the catcher. She's been walked. She also grounded out to first. So she's 0-1. But Indy had 2 runs in the first and then none in the second, but back-to-back innings with at least a run. They started to find the bats, and it was just a matter of just getting runs home, and they certainly have done that.
Yeah, and this is where it can kind of start to get away from you. I mean, nobody down. You have a run that's already scored here in the fourth.
Runners at the corners. Looks like Capria Derby, she will be headed to the bullpen. And Sophia Bond, the pitcher at a Lincoln College Preparatory Academy in Kansas City, heading into her senior year. So a new arm for the Royals. But Derby had a good day, 4 strikeouts. There's at one point she struck out 3 straight batters. And so she went 4 innings of work. Gave up 7 hits, 4 runs. But definitely a bright spot for this Royals defense. Sophia Bond, another Kansas City product. What have you liked about both teams so far? Has it been the defense, more the offensive side? What stood out to you?
I think there's been shaky spots in the defense for both teams, but their offense, they're just reading things really well. I think they're scoring, they're getting girls on base. They've left a runner on in almost every inning except the second for Indy. There's been a runner left on base. So I think if they can just try to bring them home, it's been 1 or 2 runners. It's not like they're leaving the bases loaded or anything, but bringing those runners home, if they can do that consistently, it'll obviously show for something on the scoreboard, and that can make the difference in the game, is just kind of filling the inning out, completing the inning, and just really kind of playing it full, not stopping in the middle. You got to carry through the inning.
100%. Finishing innings is certainly a big thing, and
finishing. I don't know why I couldn't come up with that word. I was like, what's the word I'm trying to say here?
But what a setting for softball. I can't emphasize that enough. The Sears Tower in the background, and a beautiful day. Supposed to get up in the mid-70s. Great day for some softball, and just an exciting time all around.
Yeah, really beautiful view here from the baseball field. You get an even clearer shot of that Chicago skyline. We're right by Lake Michigan. We're getting a nice breeze here. It's a little bit humid, but really good weather. We're excited to be here and just be in this city. I love this city, and I've loved it so far since we've been here too.
Great sports town, and the players and coaches, they're excited to be here as well. This is the 3rd and final year that it will be in Chicago. 5 regional tournaments across the country. This one's in Chicago. There is the winner of this will head down to Florida in Vero Beach. So a lot more to play for. A lot at stake here this weekend for these teams.
Yeah, that RBI World Series down in Florida. Last year, the team from the softball pool that made it was Cincinnati. They got moved to the East division, though. They were quite the powerhouse, them and Cleveland in this Central division. But like I said, they got moved over into that Eastern division.
Both Cincinnati teams, the baseball and the softball,
Yes.
were able to win it. So, yeah, they had a great showing last year. So a bit of a break here. Sophia Bond was warming up. Yeah, Carrie Kankey, she said she wants to understand that, you know, who she is, the coach. She wants them to understand that the game is for them. She wants to, you know, put the product on the field. She said all the hard work that they put in for the weeks and months leading up to it. You know, the game is just the reward, and you know, these girls have certainly put in a lot of effort just to get to this point, and they're hoping it just pays off.
Yeah, for both these baseball and softball programs that are here in Chicago, it's more than just about baseball and softball. They're playing for each other, like we kind of talked about last night. This is a lot of their last hurrahs if they're not playing college softball or college baseball and they've graduated. And this kind of gives them that experience of getting to travel, getting to come and compete against all these teams that are coming to play each other in one spot, like these invitationals that do happen in college softball all throughout the season. So it's just a really good experience for them. I'm sure they kind of feel like big leaguers a little bit. They get the fancy hotel, they get the fancy bus. They got the home run derby yesterday. That was the first time they've done this for the RBI Central Regional Tournament. So it's just a lot of fun for them. It goes beyond just baseball and softball. Obviously, you want to win, you want to make it to Florida, but if you don't, it's putting it all out there on the field and really doing it for the experience.
Yeah, and Coach Kankey said, I mean, they basically started off this softball program in year one. It's only about 2 years ago. They just didn't have enough kids to qualify for the regionals, but she's certainly excited. I mean, she's been a collegiate softball coach for over 20 years. She was actually coaching an 8 and under team last year, but because she had so much experience in softball, she went ahead. She took the responsibility of being a head coach for this regional team, and she's certainly done a great job. So the infield pushed in just a little. They know where the play is, as that's bounced away, and that's going to advance the runner of Porter. Nacho Tomeo stays at third. Runners on second and third.
Both in scoring position, nobody down, top of the order. Jones has an opportunity to do something big here.
As she hits it on the ground through the second baseman into center field. As that brings home one, the second run scores. And like you talked about, Jones had an opportunity and she capitalized on it. 2 more runs. That propels it to a 6-1 lead. Indy starting to take full command of this game here in the top of the 4th. Their biggest inning yet with 3 runs. A 2-run RBI single for Tatiana Jones.
That's 8 hits now through 4 innings. And still nobody down.
So not the start Bond would have liked. The lefty throws it high on her way to second. Was Jones. A ball, no strikes. The 1-0 count. Kaylin Napier. She has a single of her own today. As she smacks it into left field on the ground, does not get it in time is Owings. And on her way home, there is another run scored for Indy. My goodness. 4 runs here in the top of the 4th. They're up 7-1. And the bat's really starting to flow. As Dowdy is up. Aaliyah Dowdy, she has been everywhere in the field on the defensive side. RBI double for Napier. So Dowdy had a double, and she was also hit by a pitch, so she's reached base both times today. She'll see the 1-0 from Bond. And just a bit high. She swung at it, but that is going to advance the runner, Napier. Ball and a strike.
Indy's right back in scoring position here.
You know, through 3 innings, this was a 3-1 game, but Indy's starting to take full command of this game here in the top of the 4th. Bond will deliver the 1-1. There's a good pitch there for strike 2, 1-2. Nobody down for Kansas City. They have really put themselves in a tough position. Can they find a way to limit the runs? The 1-2, and swung on the ground to the third baseman. Morris fires it across and way over Gracie Hatcher. That brings in a run. Napier gets home. Dowdy to second. And that will go down as an error.
Couple of RBI doubles in a row there.
Man, oh man. 8 runs, 5 here in the top of the 4th. 9 hits because of it. Cheyenne Daniel, she'll step in. She had an RBI single last time up. She's 1 for 2 today. Well high for Bond. Not able to find her rhythm.
This is another thing, too, that's probably not helping the Royals right now. You know, you relieve Derby with Bond. Bond probably doesn't have the showing she wants. The runs are getting tacked on by Indy, and now you're kind of in this dead spot. You need to dig yourself out of this hole that they're very deep in right now. They still have nobody out. We sound like a broken record, but it's kind of shocking there's no outs, and Indy's kind of just blown it open here.
Yeah, they certainly have, but right now, a ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, you talk about it, the pitching. Bond just looking to start to find some rhythm. 9 hits, 8 runs, an 8-1 score. The 1-2, well high of the plate. Daniel being patient. She evens up the count at 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. And swing and a miss for strike 3.
Little bit of life there for the Royals. Pitching showing a little flash. He struck her out. Hopefully this is kind of just the propellant they needed to get them back on their feet, get out of this inning, and try to do some pretty heavy damage of their own in the bottom of the 4th.
Yeah, they're going to need to get themselves out of this inning especially. One out count with 1 down. The 1-0, a bit high. 2-0. This Indy team, 1-3 last year. Was able to beat Kansas City pretty soundly. And they're currently right out, up 8-1. 2 errors in the field for the Royals. That has not helped their cause. Bond the 2-1, just low and down on the ground, 3-1. This Royals program fairly new. As I said, just started up only a couple years ago. And there's another strike, 3-2. So potentially back-to-back outs here for Bond. The 3-2, low to the ground for ball 4. And that's going to send Sellers to first. The runners on first and second.
They're almost through the order here in the 4th with 1 down. They get through Rollins. It's right back to taking Gadberry.
Remember, had that triple to start things off. And looking to bunt, goes high. Yeah, with only 1 out here, it's pretty beneficial. If they can get a bunt down, that could advance the runners. So pretty clearly they're showing their strategy.
Yeah, get a bunt, load the bases, and then you're right back to Gadberry. Hope she can get a triple again or something just as big, if not bigger, really tack on the insurance runs.
The 0-1 from Bond. Couldn't reach the plate, and that hits the dirt, 1-1. One out. The 1-1. Way high. 2-1. Sophia Bond, the rising senior. That's chopped out from Rollins. So 2 balls, 2 strikes. Here with 1 gone. Sellers at first, Dowdy at second. The 2-2. And a low ground ball over to Morris, and she looked to turn third. Dowdy was already there, and not the play she would have liked. That loads the bases. And this we return to the order once again. As Tegan Gadberry, boy, she had a triple last time up, has a chance to blow things open here in the top of the 4th. A tough play to try to make for more. She was in an awkward position. Gadberry chops it back. Bases loaded. Indy looking to put this game out of reach. The 0-1. High to Gadberry. That hits her shoulder. That brings home a run. And now it's 9-1.
That's definitely not the way you want to see the score increase for Indy there. Is you have the bases loaded and you hit her, the count's pretty low.
9-1 right now. 9 hits, 9 runs. So Indy has capitalized. Inside, in for a ball. As Raucho Tomeo He was 0 for 1 today. She's been walked and struck out. 1 down, the 1-0. Just a bit high. 2-0. Doesn't look like anybody's warming up for the Royals right now. So they aren't going to stick with Bond. A good strike there. Needed to see one go across the plate, 2-1. She'll see ball 3, so Racho Tomeo. Discipline at the plate, patient as well. Racho Tomeo, 8th batter in the order. The 3-1 inside for ball 4. That brings home another run. 10 runs now.
She was walked last time, too, in this same inning. 2 walks in an inning for Racho Tomeo.
So Iona Porter had a sac bunt last time. She grounded out her first time up at the plate. And swing and a miss. That's a good pitch there from Sophia Bond. No balls to strike. Bond sets in, fires. And high the plate, 0-2.
Now, on that last at bat for Racho Tomeo, too, I don't think she swung at a single one of those. The final count was 4-1 to get her the walk. And just a really good judge. I mean, she was throwing a lot of balls. She had that one strike right down the middle over the plate, but she did a really good job just judging those pitches, deciding not to swing on any of them, and it paid off, brought a run in.
It certainly did. Well, 9 hits, but more runs right now. They've had 7 here in the top of the 4th. The 2-1. Swing and a miss inside, 2-2. Bases juiced. Indy looking to add more. And that goes well above the plate. And a full count right now. Bond needs to see one go across the plate. An important pitch right now. The full count delivery way high and away. And that will take it to ball 4. Brings home another run. And Indy up 10, 11-1. So top of the order with Tatiana Jones. With a 2-run RBI single her last time up.
I think Bond she's pitching the types of pitches she wants to, but they're not breaking as late as she wants them to. These batters aren't swinging at a lot of their pitches because they recognize they're breaking out of the zone way before they get to the plate, so it's not as deceiving. You know, she's not deceiving the batters, I think, in the way she wants to. And those strikes that are right down the middle, she's just pitching them right down the middle. They don't break into the middle. I just don't think she's breaking things the way she wants to. They're breaking too early, and batters are able to read it really well.
That's certainly a good point. Just not able to see them go across the plate in time, as Jones was looking to step into that. And there's a ball.
That one, it was low, and it was low the whole way down.
Sophia Bond just trying to find her rhythm. She is the lefty. The 1-0. Low once again in the dirt. 2-0. The 2-0. High again. 3-0. Only one out, bases loaded once more. The 3-0. And bounce on the ground in front of Morgan, just not able to get in time. And the speed of Gadberry races home and makes it 12-1. So one down. So Emma Morgan, the catcher, couldn't react in time. And a single there for Jones brings home a run. So Kaylin Napier, she's had a big day. 2 RBIs and a single. First pitch high, 1-0. One gone, the 1-0 count. As that is hit high into the left fielder, Owings able to grab it down. Raucho Tomeo on her way home. 13-1 is the score. Just did her job there. Able to see a ball in the air in the outfield. So Aaliyah Dowdy. Sac fly RBI for Napier. Dowdy's had a big day too, but you could argue she's been more impressive in the infield, has been everywhere at that shortstop position, diving for balls, able to make plays at first, and such a versatile player. And that's so important when you have players that can not only get it done on the defensive side, but also on the offensive side as well.
Yeah, I think that's a really good testament to her athleticism. Shortstop obviously being one of the most athletic positions in this game, and then to be this high in the batting order. And she's done a lot at the plate. She's been up there 4 times now through 4 innings, and she has 3 RBI. So she's MVP of the game so far. I'm going to call it early.
Maddie Morris able to make a good play there at third and to step on the bag, and that will take us out of the inning as we head to the bottom of the 4th. Indy in a commanding 13-1 lead. Stay with us here on the Windy City Sports Network. Return to the bottom of the 4th as starts off, and a good hit there for Derby. But how about that? So a single for Capria Derby, who had the pitching duties and had a good day. They gave up 5 runs, but she's getting it done offensively. Can the Royals start to mount something here? A hit by a pitch was Gracie Hatcher, the first baseman. She was hit by a pitch twice. So right now, Emma Voss still on the mound. Pinch runner comes in. Juliet Titalanga, entering her senior year at Ruskin High School in Kansas City. So her speed is going to have her at first, trying to claw their way back into this game. The Royals need a run in this inning. The run rule in this tournament, 12 runs up after 4. They will call the game. So right now, Indy up 13-1. So Kansas City going to keep their hopes alive. 1 ball, 1 strike. Each team with 2 errors, but the difference, Indy with 10 hits. This is the best start offensively that the Royals have had to start an inning. And the 1-1 is high. 2-1.
Yeah, your first 2 batters get on base after a pretty tough inning. You don't want to get mercy ruled here. It's a good way to kind of get the ball rolling, and hopefully they can tack on a few more here to keep this one going.
3 balls, a strike. Annabelle Breedlove flew out to center. She made good contact her first time up. She'll see strike 2. Boy, they're going to need her here. Caitlin Owings on deck. The full count delivery is inside, and the bases go full.
This is about as good of a start as you could hope for if you're the Royals. Like I said, coming off that tough inning, and then your first 3 batters get on base. You load the bases. You're almost through the order, and you're about to be back up at the top. So they're going to definitely look to get a few on there, get their heads back in this game.
And with Hopner, you know, the top of the order, which she's had back-to-back singles, so that's possibly where they can start to find some runs. But right now, Caitlin Owings, who struck out her first time up at the plate. Derby on first, Hatcher on second. Well, excuse me, Breedlove on first, Hatcher on second, and Derby on third. And the infield wants to talk things over was Voss. Well, right now, looks like a change for the Royals. Chloe Perkins, entering her junior year of high school at a Free State High School in the hometown of Lawrence, Kansas. They're going to need her services here. Perkins pops one foul. So Perkins pinch hitting for Owens. No balls, a strike here at the bottom of the order. If the Royals, they want to get back in the game, they need to capitalize on this. She swings in low. You know, these are the chances in games where you have the bases loaded, no outs, down by a good number of runs, and you know you have to find a way to claw back.
Yeah, they just need to rally, and like I said, this is about as good of a start as they could have probably wanted to have, as they'll get one here.
That goes over the head of Perkins and brings home Derby. So looks like there was a little bit of disagreement. So she did come home, so that is going to be a run. Well, Perkins grounds it low. Does that stay fair? It is not. It's foul. Did not get fair before that first base bag. Foul ball.
Now, that little disagreement they were having right as the Royals got their second run there, it looked to me like that pitch hit her in the back.
Yeah.
And the ump was arguing that it didn't, and the parents behind the plate were arguing that it didn't. From what I saw, it hit her like kind of right in the left shoulder blade there on her back. But he said it didn't, so she stays up there.
A ball, 2 strikes. As that's popped out into left center field. Not able to make the grab in time is Rollins. A run gets home. And Juliet Titalanga, the pinch runner. And 2 runs here in the 4th for the Royals. And trying to cut down to this lead. But how about a response? After giving up a big number of runs on the top of the 4th, they found a way here. Already 2 runs here in the bottom of the 4th. And now cutting to this lead.
They're clawing back here with some small ball.
So Caitlin Owings, who was originally going to bat, but the pinch hitter was Perkins. So Breedlove on second. And there's a strike. So Perkins with an RBI single. And that's swung and hit low to the pitcher. Voss just underhands it over to Napier. Oh, excuse me, that's Lily Mansour. She'll be taking the first base duties. Owings will see a strike. So 2 runners in scoring position. Orioles have had a great response so far, but they're going to need more runs here in the bottom of the 4th. The 0-1. And hit high into center field. Roland tracking back, and what a grab she makes. But on her way home, and there's another run scores for Kansas City. So now umpires are having a disagreement as well. I thought she tagged and able to get home. So it looks like she wasn't. As that might have been that second. Was there 2 outs? That might have been that 3rd out.
I think that was the 3rd out. Yeah, that.
Carrie Kinke doesn't look to be too happy, but they're going to talk things over. But Kansas City, 2 runs here in the bottom of the 4th. They keep this game alive. We head to the top of the 5th here on the Windy City Sports Network. Return to the top of the 5th inning, 13-3, Kansas City in front. They have a pitching change. Layla Lewis will take her turn on the mound. Another Free State High School product from Lawrence, Kansas. She goes to high school with Chloe Perkins, who had a big impact last inning, bringing home a run. Looks like Lily Mansour will step on. So Mansour will see the second strike going too. So no balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 count. Lily Mansour at Knightstown High School. And she'll see the 0-2 from Lewis way high, and that one just got away from her. (13-3) in favor of of Indy. Kansas City trying to fight back. And the 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes. A commanding lead for Indy, who put up a 10 spot in the last inning. A 2-2 right across the plate for strike 3, and a great start for Layla Lewis. And getting some praise from her team.
What's the kind of start you want to try and get yourselves back in with a new pitcher?
And it certainly is. 1 down. No balls, no strikes. Kansas City had their best offensive performance in the bottom of the 4th with 2 runs. They had the bases loaded with no outs. Really were looking for more there. And this game stays alive. So 1 down. That one's way low. So Isabella Sellers. No balls, 1 ball, no strikes. The 1-0. This low and across the plate. 2-0. Two errors in the field for the Royals. Lewis into the dirt, bounces away for the ball 3. Sellers way ahead in the count. One out. 3 balls, no strikes. The 3-0. And there is ball number 4. That will send her to first.
So a strikeout and a walk as Layla Lewis takes the mound. Kind of an inconsistent start for her. When you bring in a pitcher, you're down this much for relief. You kind of want her to have a really solid start, give your team a new foundation, and reinstill some confidence in both your offense and your defense when you're down by this very offensively dominant Indy team that broke it open in that very long 4th inning that they had.
Certainly did. No balls, a strike. The 0-1 from Lewis. And into the dirt on her way to second was Sellers. Pitching so important. That goes without saying, but especially in games like these, the pitcher has the ability to keep innings, to take innings away, and certainly to keep the team alive. No balls, 1 ball, 1 strike with 1 out. The 1-1, way low into the dirt. Sellers just gliding on to third.
Lewis is hurling a lot of these just right into the dirt on the inside.
Wild pitch there. She had a good start. 2 balls, a strike to 2-1. And once again, it got away from her. Sellers on her way home. Slides safe for the 14th run of Indy. Bella Rollins. Three balls, a strike, the 3-1. And once again, that is high. Rollins on her way home, on her way to first. So Tegan Gadberry is up. She has had quite the day. Has had a triple. Was hit by a pitch and an RBI, and on her way to second, the throw in time. She is safe. So Rollins does a great job stealing second.
That looked like it was in time to me, too.
Boy, that was awfully a close call.
Yes.
Maybe she didn't firmly get the softball in her glove, but my goodness, that was close.
It looked like that was a really good throw right to her, and her foot was on the bag. Looks like she caught it.
Bounced down the ground. Rollins decides to go home. The play at the plate, does she get her? And does. A great defensive play there. That time she was out. But Gadberry gets to second. This is going to be Alyssa Hickman from Purdue Poly High School in Indianapolis. She'll take the batter's box, and that's low. 1-0 count with 2 down. Indy's had a run in each of the innings except the second, where they were put out 1-2-3. Low in the dirt again. 2-0.
Some troubles in the bullpen here for the Royals. I'm not sure what else they have back there other than the 3 that we've seen today. But I wouldn't be surprised if they can extend this game a little longer, get back in it. If they brought Derby back out, because it just looked like she kind of got into a little bit of a stint. She had a pretty strong start there, gave up 4 runs, but 4 strikeouts. She was playing pretty well, but like I said, she just kind of hit a stint there. Maybe if she takes some time to reset, she can pump some life back into this team.
But yeah, you make a good point. She had a good command of the game through the first 2.5, 3 innings. Just got a little bit away from her, but even then, it was a close game. The 3-1 way outside for Lewis. That's going to advance the speed of Gadberry to third. And that's going to walk Hickman. So Hickman at first, Gadberry at third. The runners at the corners. So Iona Porter, the right fielder. The run rule is 8 runs after 5. So that ball's bounced back.
Just kind of trying to bunt it there, hit the top of her bat and bounce back.
Right idea. Just the execution just a little bit off.
She had moved her bat up a little bit. It would have gone straight into the dirt. She could have made a play there.
But how about Indy, though, with the bunting? They've been very successful. A lot of sack bunts. They've been placing them well. They've got a lot of speed. So they use their advantages well. 2 down, the 0-1. Porter does decide to bunt. And it just goes foul left side. 0-2. Indy plays to their strengths at a very high rate. Their team certainly looking to compete and try to punch their ticket to Florida. But they will have a lot of work to do. The 0-2, swing and a miss. Layla Lewis for some confidence there. She gets strike 3 and out number 3. As Indy puts up a run, they advance 14-3 lead. We head to the bottom of the 5th here on WCSN. Stay with us. Bottom of the 5th we go, 14-3, Indy in front. Voss once again on the mound. And she'll face Maddie Morris. Maddie's 0 for 2 today. She's popped out for the shortstop. She also struck out as well. The ball's a strike. Emma Voss has allowed 2 hits, 3 runs. She's been impressive today as well. And she'll see strike 2 grow across the plate, 1-2. A ball, 2 strikes, the 1-2, and flown out into right field. That gets down before Porter can get to it.
It's a really good spot she hit that into, just over the head of the first baseman there.
Good start there for Maddie Morris. The catcher, Emma Morgan, she'll step in. And she'll see the first ball, but Morris gets on the board with a hit. That's the 3rd hit for the Royals. They've done the most what they could with only 3 hits. They've capitalized off of 3 runs from it. And there's a strike, 1-1.
They're trying to get started here, get themselves back in it kind of the same way they did in the 4th. Get as many batters on base as early as you can and just try to bring them in. Hopefully, if you're the Royals, though, you can get more than 2, kind of extend that inning and really get yourselves back in this one.
A ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, the Royals just trying to stay alive in this game. "13 combined hits. There's been a lot of action here through 4.5 innings. 1-2. Emma Morgan, the catcher, had an RBI single. She's also been walked today. She's 1 for 1. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The 2-2. Flown up and popped high. And on the left field line, that is an out. Kaylin Napier over there.
Really good play by her, too. She's kind of battling the sun there. She's not wearing sunglasses or anything, so good on her for tracking that ball and an easy out. Well, not so easy, but she made it look easy.
Had to get over there in a hurry. Mia Trowbridge, out of the Sumner Academy of Arts and Sciences, a rising junior, a Kansas City native, and she pops up. Turns to second baseman, Breedlove, and just a routine catch. 2 away. So Derby, 1 more out, and that should do it. Here on this first game of the first day in a long weekend of softball ahead. We'll have you covered all the way through it here on the Windy City Sports Network. 0-1 popped back, 0-2. What stood out to you more? Has it been the lack of hitting for the Royals? Has it been their pitching, or has it just been Indy? They've just been dominant on the bats. As that's popped out, and just before it can get down to the right fielder. And how about that? Derby gets on first.
2 singles in a row for Derby. But to answer your question, I think the Royals bullpen has just been struggling. When Derby kind of got into her stint, they brought in Bond. They didn't do what, or she didn't do what they had hoped she would do. And then Lewis, kind of an inconsistent outing for her. And their pitches just aren't going the way they want them to. They're struggling in the bullpen, like I mentioned earlier. Wouldn't be surprised if they brought Derby back in. She's been strong offensively. You know, for her mindset, that could be a good thing to get her back into the headspace she was when she was throwing strikeouts. And they could bring her back in here, but I think Indy just really took advantage of those bullpen struggles, and 14-3 now the score as a result.
Gracie Hatcher will step into the batter's box, but yeah, I mean, Carrie Kinke talked about this is a young group, just a little bit older, and they've returned 3 of the 4 coaches, so a veteran coaching group, just trying to build this program up from the ground up, and it does take time, but they certainly have a lot of talented players. This team that they didn't have enough to qualify for the 18U division last year. Able to get a little more older, a little more mature this year. And she said they're just super excited to be here. And they've had quite a few teams in the younger age groups trying to build it up. So they're just trying to bring a competitive team year in and year out here. And Deuces run wild, the 2-2, strike number 3. And that is the game. Indy, a dominant performance in their first game. They win 14-3 after the run rule takes place in effect. But how about Indy? They have started off well, and that top of the 4th inning really put them in the game out of reach.
I mean, that's a really good start to the weekend for Indy. They can use that as kind of fuel for the rest of this weekend. They're playing a lot of games. It's a pretty long weekend for these girls, but to have your pitcher Voss go the entire game and 14 runs, and there were spots when Kansas City was trying to get themselves back into it. Like I said, they used the small ball. They were just trying to get on base, get girls home. They did a good job defensively preventing too much damage on that, or any damage really at all, and they did a lot of damage themselves. 14 runs, and I think 10 hits was the final count on there. So I mean, just a really good start for Indy.
Yeah, it certainly was. Indy will stay here, though, as they have Gary coming up in about 10 to 15 minutes. We will have you covered here on the Windy City Sports Network. Well, that will do it for Game 1. Indy 4, Kansas City 3 after 5 innings. Stay with us here on the Windy City Sports Network. Do not go away. Game 2 coming up shortly.